2023 is over and a new year has begun. You probably have a whole list of New Year's resolutions, such as going to the gym and shrinking that inner tube, which has gotten more enormous thanks to all the Christmas cooking you shoved down your pie hole. And you probably swore to treat your family and friends a lot better. Well, you can add one more New Year's resolution to your list. Hi, SA here, and when I'm not sounding like a complete knucklehead on the computer, I'm also a published author, and I have a deal for you. Remember to get your copy of Glitch, a precarious duo, and its sequel, Glitch, The Future is Unwritten. You can get them on either Kindle or paperback. Both are available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other fine bookstores. The links are down below in the description. You will enjoy this crime thriller tale of a kidnapped teen model and a reluctant jewel thief who are on the run from the law while on the treadmill at the gym. And I'm not just some one-hit wonder either. I have more books coming down the pike, so as long as I don't die in my sleep. Stuart? Stuart? You'll see those other books too. Now let's get back to the video. Hello again. SA here. Back when I was a kid, used to have commercials for all sorts of things. You know, that's the way things were. And one of those commercials advertised Fritos corn chips, which still exists today. And the pitchman or character was the Frito Bandito. You know, guy with a big old sombrero with the bandolets, but he wasn't robbing people. He was just peddling Fritos corn chips. You know, amusing. Of course, they don't use the Frito Bandito nowadays. But what I didn't realize at the time, the Frito Bandito is loosely based on Pancho Villa, famous character in Mexico, who was basically a bandit, who became revolutionary, but it is what it is. Well, anyway, back in 1916, during the height of the Mexican Revolution, Pancho Villa crossed the border into Mexico. I think it was a town called Columbus, and attacked it, killed a bunch of people. Why? I don't think he was looking for Fritos corn chips, that's for sure. They didn't make them back then. But the Americans got hopping mad, really pissed. So they sent General Blackjack Pershing down to Mexico to find Pancho Villa. Problem is, he was down there for a good year and didn't find him. Killed a bunch of Mexicans, but didn't find Pancho Villa. There you go. But then Pershing and his contingent was recalled when the United States got sucked into the First World War. But that's another story. But this isn't about video isn't about Pancho Villa, but it's about the U.S.-Mexican border. And right now, anyone who's been paying attention knows that the situation down there is pretty bad. Real bad. I mean, you have Governor Abbott in Texas all up in arms. He's got a damn National Guard down there guarding the border. You have dissension inside the Border Patrol. Some people support what governor's doing, some are not. You have Joe Biden, who, according to Tim, is thinking about somehow recruiting the Alaskan National Guard to go down to Texas to fight the Texas National Guard. And I'm thinking, wait, what? I know it sounds nutty, but, well, what do you expect? It did with Joe Biden, or I should say his handlers. And despite all that's happening, Now Congress is finally stepping in. Oh, you say, oh, good. Now what are they going to do? Well, they wanted to change a law, pass through a new law. But Johnson, who currently is Speaker of the House of Representatives, said, nah, this bill, sorry, bug, is no good. It's garbage. And you say, really? It's supposed to be for about border security, right? Actually, it's not. Because according to this border security bill that they just slapped together and pushed through the Senate, it's got a lot of garbage in it. Mostly Ukraine stuff. And you say, oh, them again? Yeah, them again. And it also has money for Israel. And you said, we don't give them money all the time? Yeah, we do, but there's some more in there for them too. However, what Johnson, the Speaker of the House, doesn't like is what the law actually says about border security. And what it says is, you can look it up, it says that technically it won't close down the border. Technically, it will allow up to 5,000 illegal aliens into the country. And you say, but isn't a whole lot more people crossing the border than that? Yeah. But this is the part you're going to love. The piece of paper, this bill, says that those 5,000 who come across the border a day will be a given work visas, i.e. green cards. And you say, wait a second, I thought green cards were only for legal immigrants. Precisely. So then you're probably surprised that Johnson said, no way, Jose. No pun intended. Well, believe me, anyone whose brain works would say the same thing. So then you say, why did they put that in there? Well, the person who wrote the bill was old Schumer. And no, not that land whale Schumer. No, that woman is actually Senator Schumer's niece, but let's not get into the weeds about that, okay? Yeah. Not that Amy Schumer will ever run for Congress anyway, but anyway. And then you say, why did he write that? Well, if you've been paying attention, a lot of these Democrats think that illegal immigration is a good thing. I mean, good grief. Nancy Pelosi not too long ago said that we need illegal immigration because who's going to pick the oranges in Florida? And I'm thinking maybe Floridians, perhaps? Because back when the old dreaded orange man was president, they went to a chicken plant in Mississippi that was full of illegal aliens and cleaned the place out, rounded them up and sent them back home. And did the chicken plant go out of business? Nope. Because a funny thing happened. The very next day, the people in the local community went to the chicken plant and basically said, hey, we heard you guys got some job openings. Can we have those jobs? And the chicken plant basically said, sure. And indeed, one guy who just recently got hired at the chicken plant said that the chicken plant actually is a good paying job. In fact, I remember he said that that the people who were getting paid at the chicken plant were getting paid better than people working at McDonald's. And you say, wait a second, aren't people at McDonald's getting $15 an hour? Yeah, well, I think, cutting dead chickens probably pays a lot more than $15 an hour. So there you go. However, according to the Clayton Morris, or at the redacted, the people who come across the border, some of them are not really here to work. No, apparently they're here to cause trouble. And indeed, right now there's a video, you can see it, it's on the computer, where a bunch of illegal aliens in New York City jumped a couple of NYPD cops, beat the shit out of them. Why? Don't rightly know. I guess they were bored and there's nothing good on TV, I suppose. And then Alvin Bragg, Fat Albert, he let the guys go. And you say, wait, what? Yeah, I couldn't believe either. And indeed, a bunch of people, accosted the guy in near his offices and said, "Why'd you let these assholes go?" My words, not theirs. And he had no answers, sitting there sounding like Porky Pig, begee, 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 begee. He had no answer. And then rumors started floating around on the damn interwebs that these guys already hopped on the bus and left town. Perhaps. And now they're beginning to suspect these guys may have been gangbangers. From where? Where, indeed. Because back about 5-6 years ago, when Trump was running for president, he famously said, talking about Mexico, that Mexico wasn't sending their best. They're sending their worst. And you know what? He wasn't lying. Because I remember the Mariana boat lift. And you say, what the hell's that? Well, it was an incident that happened around 1979 when a bunch of people started fleeing Cuba. First it was 1 boat, then 10 boats, and then 100 boats, and 1,000 boats. People getting everything from little dinghies to full-blown yachts and were fleeing Cuba. Why? I guess they don't want to live under Castro, I suppose. But this is the part you're going to love. By the time the Mariana lift ended, 1/10 of the entire Cuban population had fled the island. And you say, it doesn't sound like a whole lot. Are you kidding me? Go back and check the stats. Around 1979, the population of Cuba was 10 million people. So if you do the arithmetic in head, okay, 10 million people, 10% left the island, that's 1 million people in a matter of months. That's a lot of people. Oh, and this is the best part. Are you ready? It came out later, under Reagan, because Jimmy Carter didn't win re-election, that a big chunk of those people who came across were not refugees. They were criminals. And you say, that sounds like that old film Scarface with Al Pacino. Yeah. Except while the film Scarface was fiction, the scenario was true. And and you talk to anyone down there in Florida that was living around back then, they had a lot of crime, a huge uptick in rapes, murders, strong arm robberies across the board. Didn't matter if you were in Fort Lauderdale or up there in Tallahassee or points in between. People were just getting jacked left, right, and center. Because all these damn criminals came across the damn into Florida, and they started doing criminal stuff. Well, jump forward to the present day. You're not surprised that more and more people who are showing up in down there at Brownsville or San Ysidro tend to be what is referred to euphemistically as military-age men. You think that's an accident? That's probably not an accident. And therefore, anyone who can think clearly probably figures that these clowns who are showing up on the border are not refugees. These people are hardened criminals, rapists, murderers, the whole gambit. And that probably explains why those 2 cops got beat the crap out of. Those clowns who did it were probably gangbangers, probably fleeing El Salvador. Because anyone who's been paying attention to El Salvador knows that MS-13, the main gang down there, their life is on contract. The people who didn't get killed all got rounded up and are sitting in a pokey right now in El Salvador. So if you're a gangbanger in El Salvador, you want to stick around San Salvador? Do you want to stick around San Diego? San Diego sounds like a better bet. And indeed, Rebel News, good dudes, they keep showing this stuff happening down there at the Darien Gap And you said, "What? Where the fuck is that?" That's down there in Panama. I can't remember if it's before or after you get to the damn Panama Canal, but it's in that general neighborhood. And they said that they got a whole industrial immigration industrial complex going down there. And then they got camps down there. They got various NGOs, some of them from the United States, providing resources for all these people. And wait for it. Are you ready? Even the Chinese are getting into it. And you say, what, the Chinese? Yeah. Because Clayton Morris, he's talked to people at Rebel News who've been down there, and they said, yeah, the Chinese have commandeered some of the best hotels. And you say, so what are they doing coming through Panama? Why don't they just get on an airplane and fly directly to LAX or San Francisco International Airport? Beats me. But apparently they're using that route. I guess they realize that it's one thing to fly in LAX and go to the terminal and people checking your paperwork and some clown hopping the damn fence down there at San Isidro and no one's checking their IDs or paperwork there. They just run off into the damn bushes and disappear. So then you say, well, these people are criminals? Perhaps. I mean, the fact that so many of them showed up in the Darien Gap and they actually have hotel accommodations. That's kind of skunky, to say the least. Then you say, what's it all leading to? Well, according to the people at the Redacted, they recently spoke to a Denver PD detective. He wouldn't go on camera, but they said that this guy on good authority told them that they have arrested not one, not two, but 50 Al Qaeda members. No joke, no BS. And over the last just few months, what happened to these people after they got arrested? He didn't say. They probably got handed over to Homeland Security, I suppose. And according to Clayton Morris, this detective who wouldn't go on camera, said that he believed the people were planning on setting up some kind of sleeper cell. And before you can say 9/11 Part 2, that's the presumption that they were up to. They were planning on staging some kind of mass casualty attack, another massive terrorist attack inside the United States. Yep. Seems like these damn people haven't learned their lesson, have they? And therefore, and it gets worse. According to the brothers at the Redacted, it's not just Al Qaeda, but also Hezbollah and Hamas. And you say, what? Yeah. Apparently, these guys are coming in by way of Venezuela. And you say, why Venezuela? Well, according to them, because Venezuela has been real friendly to people in Iran. How friendly? Friendly. That a lot of the Hezbollah people have migrated into Caracas and set up shop there. Doing what? God knows. And now it appears that a lot of these Hezbollah guys are basically following the chain migration, no pun intended, north through the Darien Gap up to the American border. And then you say, what the hell are they up to? What indeed? And then, of course, there's another video on the computer right now. You can find it if you look it up, where Johnson, Speaker of the House, is arguing with Jabba the Hutt Nadler about how multiple jurisdictions, California, Vermont, and a few places in between, are giving illegals the right to vote. And he interrogated him right there in the damn hearing room about what the hell is this. And Nadler, not the brightest knife in the drawer, I might add, basically admitted it. He said that it's to basically allow illegals to vote in local elections. And then he had nerve to say, "What's wrong with that?" I said, "Excuse me." And Johnson, even though he basically has one of these resting faces where you can't really tell if he's angry or sad, he was pretty pissed and said so. He said that illegal aliens do not have the right to vote in American elections. Doesn't matter if it's for president or dog catcher. No, no, hell no. And yet, that's what this mess is really all about. It's all about letting a bunch of people in, giving them voting rights, and basically start screwing up our elections. And the worst thing about it was this happened once before, under Reagan. You can look it up. I remember seeing the news reports. Happened back in '87, when Reagan basically was snookered into signing a piece of paper that basically gave, I think it was 11 million illegal aliens amnesty. Full amnesty. With rights and everything, including voting rights. And supposedly the piece of paper said that in exchange that Congress would provide funding for border security. Except guess what? Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And Reagan, who left office, barely 2 years later, didn't realize that he had gotten snookered. Yeah, he immediately gave all these people amnesty, but then border security funding never, ever materialized. Not one penny. Nothing. Zilch. Nada. And now it looks like these damn Democrats trying to pull the stunt again. But Reagan's not there anymore. This guy Johnson, who's Speaker of the House, apparently he doesn't have Alzheimer's the way Reagan did. And he's basically saying, "Nah, we don't want no part of this piece of paper. You can just roll this thing up and throw it in the damn trash." And I'd say, good. So what happens now? I guess for now, Greg Abbott is basically like the little Dutch boy with his finger in the dike, holding back the tide. Now, how long can he keep that up? I don't rightly know. But we know the people who are supposed to be in charge, Biden and his homies, like Mayorkas, that clown, they clearly don't give a damn. They want these people coming across the border. People who clearly have no allegiance to America, don't want to have an allegiance to America, and will not have an allegiance to America. So some of these people who are flapping their lips right now, talking about, Biden and his crew want to round up these illegals, give them uniforms and a rifle and send them off to fight the Ruskies in Ukraine. Guess what? That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Because these crooks, these criminals, these bandits, these Pancho Villa types, all they care about is three things: me, myself, and I. That's it. They don't care about America. They don't care about American democracy. They don't care about our Constitution. They don't care about us. They're just here to whatever they can get their hands on. Doesn't matter if they're beating some cop on the street corner, or they're damn grabbing some old woman's purse while she's still wearing it, I might add. These people don't care. Tell you, sometimes makes you wonder whose side are these people on anyhow. Are you on the side of America, or are you on the side of these damn bandits? Yep. Does make you wonder. Well, that's all I have to say about this total shitstorm happening down at the border. And that's my opinion.